The sad reason why Charles was unable to strip Meghan and Harry of their titles. Divorce warrants are pending. It's more than you ever imagined, actually. Since they began dating, Prince Harry and his wife have been a royal pain. Meghan is a controlling bully who believes that unless she gets her way, everyone will be at odds. Could this be a problem for a dynasty that's ruled for more than 1,000 years? Yes, of course. When Harry met Meghan, they allegedly had the most incredible sex that Harry had ever experienced. Harry wasn't wise enough to recognize he was in a honey trap. We all know that Meghan reared her ugly head and turned into the nightmare we've been warned about after they got married. When Meghan realized that becoming a member of the royal family meant she would be expected to serve the public without being compensated for each outing, she rapidly changed her mind. Her demands and foul attitude grew to the point when Her Majesty the Queen was required to make amends to those whom Meghan had wronged. The majority of comments have been directed toward Meghan because of how she handled Harry. I had the impression that she would leave him as soon as the money dried up, and the A-list invitations were just a pipe dream, while throngs of people, including myself, have demanded that the Sussex couple's titles be dropped. One gets the idea that the royal family is delaying the removal of titles for a cause. One rumor seems to surface more frequently than others among those making the rounds in the media. The royal family is anticipating Harry and Meghan's separation. If the championships are taken away, Harry won't have anything to fall back on. Prior to the chorus of, "But she keeps her title in a divorce," let me clarify that this isn't precisely true. Everything is negotiable in the royal family because of divorces. She asked to keep the title of Princess of Wales when Prince Charles divorced his wife. After much deliberation, Prince Charles consented, but only provided Her Royal Highness was dropped from the salutation. Diana was devastated, but she decided to accept it. If you recall, Lady Diana Spencer was Diana's previous name, and she was already a member of the royal family. What does this all signify for Meghan and Harry then? There will be some significant choices to be made when the Montecito group begins splitting what's left of their possessions. Since California is a 50-50 state, all marriage-related income is split equally. Unless a prenuptial agreement specifies otherwise, this only applies to assets required during the marriage. Before they could get married, we don't know if Meghan had to sign a prenuptial agreement. The jewelry that previously belonged to Diana, Princess of Wales, has also been mentioned. Meghan would probably not be willing to part with those gems, in my opinion. This would make for an intriguing negotiation. Meghan is able to meet the demands of having to maintain the kind of life to which she's become used. She has no input about royal titles, for example. In both Europe and Asia, royal titles have great significance. They are not acknowledged in the USA. Even though Meghan was a working royal for less than 2 years, could she still demand to preserve her title? She can demand, but she'll probably put up a tough battle. The royals might award her one of the lesser titles, sans HRH designation, as they would probably prefer she not have access to the Duchess title. Child custody will undoubtedly be a source of conflict. If there are kids, that is. Meghan most likely would ask for custody. She would anticipate money to maintain the security's existing level and child support. Meghan might not be aware that all of the money Harry received from his family before getting married is not regarded as shared property. This might be one of the causes for his family's refusal to give them financial help going forward. What do we know then? First off, Harry's family will surround him and hire the greatest attorneys to defend him if there is a divorce. Second, although Meghan will believe she is in charge, the family will throw in the towel since they know she's leaving. Third, shared custody would apply to any children. They divide their time equally between Harry and Meghan, unless Meghan starts bringing up Harry's drug use as a point of contention. If that occurs, I'm positive that evidence of Meghan's wrongdoing will suddenly surface. There might be some winners. No, but at least Meghan is no longer part of the royal family. Knowing your opponent's vulnerability before a combat makes it much easier to win. Meghan's love of money is one of her weaknesses. Knowing this and being very certain that MI5 has a thorough file on Meghan Markle, I believe the royal family can get rid of her very quickly. Of course, everything hinges on Meghan's expectations, how much the palace is ready to spend, and, most intriguingly, how dishonestly they will act, given that she will go down in history. Any sum will do to get rid of her. They might demand she never bring them up again, never make money off her affiliation with them, never sell merchandise featuring her children, and demand DNA tests before paying her a penny. It will come down to whether she values money or retaliation more for her. Sadly, unless there has been commingling, any money that someone inherits is not considered marital property in California. Harry deserves what he receives if he's foolish enough to commede. Any earnings from the inheritance would be subject to Meghan's right to spousal refusal and maintenance. However, there are situations when the paying party is better off paying a lump sum. They were wed in England, therefore any divorce would likely be handled there. I am not familiar with that procedure. In exchange for signing a confidentiality agreement, there might be a reward, and children will compete for money as well. As litigation fees rise, attorneys will be the real winners. If this marriage does not last, Harry will be stuck between a rock and a hard place. In view of the awful outcomes their decisions have brought them to date, I recommend they accept the lot they created and coexist as erstwhile royals in Montecito, creating the few lives they can summon while offering poisoned support to one another. She simply adores her title, though. She requests that people refer to her as Duchess Meghan. Even the Suits production team had to go back and change her cast portrait to read Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex. It's blatantly obvious that I'm telling the truth. Check it out for yourself. Regardless, she has the right to keep the jewels. She received them as a present from Harry. In the United States, gifts that have been given cannot be taken away. Harry hasn't handed Diana much of her jewelry, though. She wears the butterfly earrings, a watch, and an aquamarine ring. She only possesses it and 2 diamonds from Diana's diamond bracelet, which she used in her engagement ring. She also gets to keep her wedding band. She also preserves the diamond bracelet that King Charles gave her as a wedding gift. If she obtains a divorce in America, that is, I doubt she will get to keep any jewels if they obtain a divorce in the UK. Diana left her boys her own jewelry when she passed over 25 years ago. I suppose those items now belong to their husbands if they decide to present jewelry to their wives. The majority of the jewelry Diana wore was not her own. Rather, it was part of the royal collection. All of it was given back when she divorced Charles. Diana's personal jewelry has already been disposed of in accordance with the terms of her will, so there won't be a dispute over it. Although I believe Meghan would fight tooth and nail to grab everything she can, I don't think there will be a major conflict over Diana's jewels because there isn't much to fight about. As far as I'm aware, Diana's dress ring and her engagement ring were both gifts from Harry, who also gave her a watch. I guess Meghan gets to keep them since they were presents, but don't confuse the royal collection, which Meghan will never have access to, with Diana's own jewelry. What a shame considering the money that stuff is worth. I can hardly believe what a wonderful family Harry has. Despite the money that was wasted and the embarrassment that he's caused them, it appears that they still are in favor of him. I recently read that one worry about taking the titles from the Sussexes is that it's possible Harry won't have anything going forward. He would then only have access to handouts in the future. To my mind, this is the only secure strategy for keeping him out of trouble. Harry keeping his titles would be like letting a child play with a loaded gun as a toy.
And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.